Hey, what's up, everybody? You're listening and watching the Juice Box Heroes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, PK. I'm joined always by the Don Fan Club president with a new bobblehead, signifying his love for the one they call Dubon. I'm here with Chris. What's up, dude? Good looking bobblehead you got.
Oh man, yeah, I went ahead and caved. And got it. So now I guess it just solidifies my my love hate
Undying
for
love.
Devon. Yeah. So that's over and done with. Actually got a good deal on it thanks to Jaime Campos again being my bobblehead hookup. So yeah, man, I went ahead and caved in. I wasn't going to, but then, like I said, I told myself, I'm like, I'll take a look at it. If they're asking anything more than $40 for it, whatever. And he
Yeah.
was like, I'll give it to you for 30. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So
You would have paid 100. I know. Look,
I would not have paid 100.
man, I get it. You don't want everyone to know that you're down for Dubon. It's cool. You have to keep running with what your hatred.
Yeah.
You know you love the guy.
No.
It's all good though. I mean, it's our little secret. No one will have to know.
Well, I mean,
It's true facts.
some people will know.
What's going on in the world with you, man?
Man, nothing much, man. Just actually things have slowed down a lot now that baseball season's over as far as, little league, but now Benjamin's playing basketball, and that's a completely different world for me. So I'm just I mean, like, I'm probably the world's most terrible assistant coach because I just stand there and do this. Play defense, run. And that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
good. Well, that's what's
So,
up, man. Yeah, no, we're wrapping up the last weekend. This starting tonight with All Star softball, first year softball with my daughter. So wrapping that up, and then it's beach volleyball the rest of the summer for her. So get a little break, I guess, kind of, sort of, but yeah, same old shit, different day.
well,
Kind of like the Astros. So
yeah,
it's a pretty good. That was a good segue I did.
I like that.
I like the Astros.
I like
So we
that.
had the Twins in town over the weekend, right? Carlos is back. Uh, we should have won the series, like, honestly, and that's not even being a homer. Like, I really feel like we should have won the damn series. We lost it two games to one. Presley's, I don't know, man. Presley blew it. Was part of the reason we lost, but he was definitely the main culprit, right, on that game. But then he comes back the next day and is like, this is the Presley that we expected to see. So it's still the same thing with Presley. So much inconsistency. And like, you want to believe that he's going to turn the corner. At least I do. I want to believe he's going to turn the corner and be like the consistent nail that he's been for so long, which has been so up and down. I mean, we talk about it almost every episode. Like, what's the guy's problem? Like, why is he, is it because he's older? Is it because of the new role? Is it because of haters? Is it all the above? So, we should have taken 2 out of 3 against those guys. Like, we really should have. But here we are, it was a series that we needed to win. Like, we're at that point again where we're needing to win series going forward. So, kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of been the Astros MO all season. Up and down, up and down, up and down. I mean, both of the series are series you easily could have won. Instead, we're kind of stuck in the mud right now as far as we're still 7 games behind Seattle. Looking at the wild card, I think we improved to now we're only 6 games behind the wild card. I mean, yeah. So we did we did gain a game. I mean, but like right now we're kind of stuck in that purgatory of what's the next step to do with this team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're still pretty early in June, but we're slowly approaching, if at least from where what we discussed back in a handful of episodes ago about when do I start becoming, like when I start taking okay, it's still early to when, we need to start looking at how are we going to retool or do whatever. I mean, we're only, what did I say? What, June 15th?
You said middle of June.
Yeah, I mean, so we got about 9 more days until we hit about the middle of June. And with everything else going on affecting this team outside of, their daily performance, it's not looking good.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we dropped two pitch. I mean, we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it now. We had two pitchers go down now for the rest of the season. Javier with a crick in the neck that turned into a Tommy John injury, and Urquidy, who sucks, man. That guy just can't stay healthy. Like, it's just impossible for that guy. But those guys are down for the rest of the season. What the hell are we going to do now, right? And we're expecting Luis Garcia back in, I don't know, July, I think. McCullers maybe, but you can't even count on McCullers to come back, right? So we're at this point now where we have our five starters, but what happens if those guys go down? We don't have anybody in our farm system that is ready to rock and roll from a pitching standpoint. I mean, we've seen that with poor old Blair Henley, that one start against Texas. It's not the best line for him to go out against, but we don't have anybody ready to go. So deadline's coming up, about a month and a half away. Seen a couple little things on Twitter. Don't know if I can really trust it. There was and I forget the lady's last name, but there's Holly something that, whatever, tweeted, X'd out, whatever you want to say it, that the Astros reportedly are interested to do a private workout with your boy, Bauer Power. So I know that if that's actually true, you are going to be ecstatic about it if it actually happens. However, I did read this last night that her profile, I read an article because someone was trying to debunk it, because I really haven't seen anything from the OGs, that usually report this stuff. But apparently her profile says she works for MLB Network, but it also says that she works for MLB on Fax, which is the parody, FAX, right? Which is So you can take it with what it was. It is Twitter, so who the hell knows? But I know that you've been beating that horse all season and off season about it, and I know that I fought you on it all off season and off season so far. I still think it's a potential PR nightmare. But what the hell do you have to lose at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, really, because even in the article that I read, it talked about, as far as contract was concerned, the same thing that you talked about the whole time, which is a team-friendly, incentive-based deal, aside from the PR stunt and all of the questions you're going to have from them, there's no risk in the monetary side of it, right? It's more of a PR thing and what the Astros want to stand for. So there's that out there, man. I mean, I don't see why the hell not now at this point. I mean, you've got two your starters that have gone down in the same week, And if we talk about Javier, the fact that, I joke about it, a quick net turns into a damn Tommy John, right? But if everybody remembers that he had that prick in his neck and we slept wrong, he missed, a few days, but then he came back out. But didn't he leave early the next start, or he got rocked the next start? He got rocked the next start, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing with Javier too is it was pretty clear that they rushed him back.
Yeah.
And the main idea or the main factor in all of this is that the Astros front office did this to themselves, right?
Okay.
We've been talking about this since we started episode 1 about how the lack of having any pitching depth as far as bringing in, you knew when going into, the offseason that you were going to have two pitchers not coming back until July, right?
Yeah.
One of them is a huge question mark because he's always hurt. The other one, and again, for people who may not know, is that Tommy John, they're out for a year, which means that this time next year they can start throwing.
Yeah.
So, we're looking at, if they even come back next year, it's probably not going to be until August.
Maybe.
And that's maybe. And if they even come back, they're on such a microscopic pitching count that whatever little bit you get from them, it's essentially, it's going to be an extended spring training, what you're going to get from them. So if the expectation is, Urquidy and Javier are going to come back and they're going to perform exactly at the same level as right before they got hurt, it's a negative. Ain't going to happen. You can pretty much rule them as being out all of next year too.
Yeah.
So, again, and that's just, like I sat down and I just started writing down all the injuries that we've had, right? You look at McCullers, you look at Garcia, you look at JP France. They haven't even given an update on JP France. That dude dresses out. He just doesn't do anything.
So
So,
I did see something on him. It was August-ish. That was literally what was
okay, August-ish. So I guarantee you he's done for the season. I'd be
yeah.
surprised if we saw him come back, right? Because why are you going to bring him back to pitch in AAA? In AAA, the season ends about 3 to 4 weeks before the MLB season ends. So he'll pitch for like 2 weeks and the season will be over.
Mm-hmm.
So, then you had who else? I mean, you had Kendall Graveman out for the year. I mean, so you have a slew of pitchers that that you knew, or right now you're in this position. They're out, they're gone, done for the year, right? So what we're looking at right now is that we're putting all of our hopes and dreams on Lance McCullers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a guy who's coming back from Tommy John and Garcia.
Yep.
Which again, essentially, when he comes back to July until the end of the season, is essentially because he'll probably do a couple of rehab starts down in
Yep.
AAA. It's essentially going to be an extended spring training for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
he's not really going to be able to stretch his arm out until next season. So he's going to be doing maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 innings. That's it. So as far as all Garcia is going to contribute is maybe what they used to do back in the Luno days when they would piggyback starters back in the minors. So that's essentially, so it'd be like a bullpen day, right?
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, there's a couple of kids that are kind of stirring some things down in AAA. Like there's this kid, I think his name is Colton Gordon. He's down in AAA. But again, like these kids you're rushing, right? So if you had built the depth, and again, we've talked about this 3 or 4 times by now, right? Then right now you're at the point, okay, let's call up Spencer Arrighetti instead of
Yeah.
having to call him up a month and a half ago when
Yeah.
clearly he wasn't ready. I mean, we saw his first 4 starts and it was just like, man, this kid's overmatched.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him slowly start putting it together, right? So, and my thing with the Bauer thing, I mean, you already know. I mean,
I know.
I posted that on Facebook. All I posted was, can we just stop messing around and sign Bauer already? Just get it over with.
How'd that go?
Oh man, like you would have thought, the fucking city was blowing up, So, but like there was some perspectives, that actually, I read and I was like, okay, man, I see where you're coming from, right? I mean, but then here's my thing, fans of the Astros. If you don't want Trever Bauer here because he said mean things about the Astros 2 years ago, get over it. Get over it. You're probably the same person that was all about bringing Cody Bellinger here last year at the trade deadline. And forgot that he said some pretty mean stuff about the Astros too.
Would you take Cody Bellinger?
Yeah.
Would you take Cody Bellinger?
Last year? Yeah, I would have taken him in a heartbeat. Yeah. It's all about making his team better. I don't care what they say, right? Cody Bellinger could have pulled out an Astros flag and taken a dump on it. And as long as he came over and produced the way he produced last year, yeah, come on over. Whatever. Get over it. Right? It's not like he's murdering any children or anything, Same thing with Bauer. If that's your big thing is that he said some mean stuff about the Astros, get over it. Right? Because right now, God forbid if anybody else gets hurt, there are no more options.
Yeah, no shit.
Right? I promise you, Trever Bauer, I'm not saying he's going to go Cy Young Trever Bauer, but I promise you he's better than any guy that you can claim off of waivers.
Yeah.
I promise you. So.
But look, I saw something also about Zach Greinke. Get that back. And I'm like, exactly. That's why I'm like, y'all lost your minds. Whoever put, I forget what's out there, but it was on Twitterverse, whatever. But it was like Greinke, is it Zach Overhoser?
Oh, Brett Hope. Oh my God,
right.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. And then there was another one, and I was like, okay, what are we doing here, people? I mean, like, what are we doing?
I can just shout some names too. Why don't we call Doug Dre back? Maybe see if he can pitch. Call up maybe a Mike Hampton. Maybe he'll pitch.
What's his name? Pete Harnish. Let's get these guys back in uniform.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, these guys. I get it. You're looking for reasons to fix it. I mean, but like,
Yeah,
You have, and again, I get it. This Bauer move would have to be signed off by, the players that matter, right? So sorry, Jake Myers, you don't get a vote.
that's true.
And of course, the committee would have to be down with it. But yeah, he's already came out and said he'll play on a minimum with incentives to make him earn his money. Worst case scenario. You could even put a behavior clause in his thing where if he acts a fool, you can cut him with no like repercussions financially of cutting him, right? Worst case scenario, you work out a deal like 2 years, $6 million, right? Gets 3 apiece. He has the ability to earn 8 apiece, right? Let's say he goes off. Guess what? Maybe now you have another trade piece you can do to rebuild
Yeah,
that farm system, right? Worst case scenario, he gets lit up like Hunter Brown, and then he's only costing you $6 million. Maybe make it a team option that second year,
yeah,
and then bam, you're good to go. So it's not like he's going to come in here and we're going to start, sacrificing kids to the blood god or anything, and it's going to be ridiculous, right? So I'm going to stand on if Domingo Herman is still in the major leagues, and
fact.
he did beat up his old lady,
Yeah,
right? That was proven 100%. Then this guy should get a second chance, right? And if you sign this guy, like I said, you're hoping this guy just mows down hitters, because either A, we turn our season around and we're talking about playoffs, or B, now we have somebody that we could trade to continue to work on rebuilding that 27th overall minor league system.
yeah, no shit. And so with those things, well, like going back to the contract, it would have to be a multi-year deal, right? Because
It would make the most sense, yeah.
you're not gonna, yeah, because you're talking about a trade piece. You can't bring this guy in for 3 months, let him increase his value, and then watch him walk for nothing.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a 2-year thing, right? So
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
you can move him if you want to, next season. So I think it'd be cool. I don't see. Again, I keep harping on the PR side, right? Because you just know, even though he's been, cleared or whatever, acquitted, however, right? It's been proven that old lady was, she was wild and she was whatever. Like, it's still not a good look. It doesn't matter if it's, false or not. Like, you still have to answer questions, So
But it works out for Bagwell and them. You want to know why?
it takes heat off
Because
her spray you.
there you go. There you go. And
Mm-hmm.
it'll give them at least a week of them not talking about how terrible Abreu is.
And why he's still in the lineup and
Yep. And it's going to be all eyes on Bauer. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
see, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Well, Bagwell was out playing golf today at Houston today at Houston Golf Club with Live Golf. They're in town. They're in town this weekend, so they showed a clip on the news of him and his. It's not a good swing. I'm just gonna say that. This is not so. Maybe he should work on his golf swing instead of being a GM. But
yeah,
no, man. I think you at least have a conversation with Bauer and his team, man. At least talk. It don't hurt to talk.
It's true.
It
does not hurt.
Like, we're in a spot right now where, like, we've got to start figuring out what the hell we're going to do. Dana Brown's come out and said that he doesn't foresee this team being sellers, right? Like, from the trade.
I'd like to know what he's smoking, because I would like to also see that too. I just don't see a universe where this team is, 10 games out of first place and 10 games or 12 games behind in the wild card, the third spot of the wild card.
Yeah.
And them not being, looking to, move some pieces to gain some minor league pieces or something.
It's like this, Spada went through this whole, BS about look at the back of the baseball card with the Bray earlier in the year, and I guess Dana Brown said, "Hey, that's a cool story. Let me tell you about my story, which is the Braves. We didn't get to 500 until the 100th game of the season, and then we went on our run. Blah 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 blah. The rest is history. They beat us in the World Series, right? But like." That's a cool comparison, right? That's a cool story. That was great for that team. But you can't sit here and you can't, like, you're the GM of a billion-dollar franchise, and you're going to hold on to or compare this team to, hey, man, my other team did this at 100 games. We were at 500 after 100 games. This team we're just holding on. We know what we got. Of course, every GM for the most part knows or feels like their team is worth a shit, except for maybe Oakland and the White Sox, right?
Colorado.
But that's what I keep hearing is, hey man, my 2019 Braves we was 500 after 100 games, and we went on a run. You can't hope that your team's going to go on a run, and you can't sit and wait for your team to go on a run. We went on a little run earlier, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, we were on a little run. And what do? Is they bring a Brady back after like 2 games against 18-year-olds and 2 games against mid-20-year-olds in AAA and said, okay, we're going to screw up the entire mojo of the team. Brady, you get your spot back. And like now we're kind of, back to the inconsistent ball that we were playing when we were on a roll. And we talked about it then where it was like, leave the lineup how it was. I mean, you had Lopez on left and Myers and Tucker. Like, everything seemed to be gelling at that moment. Like, everything, right? And it's probably because whether they're teammates or not, and whether they respect the player or not, when you see Abreu coming up to bat, I guarantee you that even the leaders are like, this is automatic out. This is a rally killer. Right?
Oh, I promise you, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so when he's not there, you're like, at least, Singleton's going to put up in a bat and throw his hands up like it's an inside pitch on an outside pitch. Like, you know what you're getting. Right? He's going to, at least put the bat on the ball, maybe get a walk, right? So we're back to this bullshit again where it's like, Abreu is still in the lineup. Like, here's the lineup from yesterday, right? From yesterday. Now, granted, Tucker, we haven't talked about Tucker's out. He's been out for a few days, right? Because he took a foul ball off the shin, which, look, I was thinking about this today. Like, whenever you see a guy or catcher or any dude get hit in the junk and, like, every guy can instantly relate to the feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like, when I watched him get hit in the shin, like, it's like, I know what that feels like, especially if you play ball. Like, if you play ball, like, you've taken foul balls off your legs and, like, it's incredible pain. So, Tucker's out. Bregman was out, but he got scratched because of his hand. Yeah. Right. Thankfully, I mean, he said that he'd be ready for Friday for the opener against the Angels, but then Asada was also not like 100% committed to Bregman being in the lineup, but Bregman was. So it's like these two guys aren't talking like who's really leading this thing. But anyways, this is the lineup for the last game against the Twins. Okay. Oh, the Cardinals.
I'm ready.
Pena leading off.
Okay.
Jordan. Myers is number 3. Okay. Now look, I will give Jake some credit for being like on a roll, like for real. Like the dude's been for Jake Myers, he has been raking, like for real.
Yeah, but he's kind of cooled off a little bit though.
But he ain't a number 3 guy. I don't care if Altuve, Tucker, Bregman are out of the lineup. He's still not a number. You don't put him in the 3 spot.
No, you don't.
He's an aggressive swinger. He'll swing at anything, right? Just like Altuve does. That you know what you're getting with Altuve. So anyways, Myers is batting 3. Okay.
Okay.
Singleton's cleanup. I mean,
it's a stretch, but okay.
It's a stretch. Diaz is 5. I mean, Diaz.
I mean, he's been breaking of late. So
3 bombs in 3 games, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You have Cabbage was 6.
Okay.
Abreu 7. Oh, that did it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I missed somebody. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. But Dubon batted last, right? After why? Oh, Chaz, my boy Chaz is somewhere in this lineup. But anyways,
that's a terrible lineup. That is
hot garbage.
Garbage. That is like lineup after we just decided we were going to go into full rebuild, but we haven't traded Jordan yet. That's what that lineup was.
Look, and you told me whenever we were like briefly talking about this, he's like, this is what our team looks like without Altuve, without Tucker, without Bregman. This is the lineup getting run out there every day. Yeah. I mean, Lopez probably, but anyways, that's not the point. But you take your 3 big guns out, 3 or 4 big guns out, and this is the team. This is the team that's getting run out into the field at the juice box.
Yeah, and that's frustrating too, because it's like, I mean, you already beat up on their pitch in the first 2 games. So it's like, where's that killer mentality? I mean, like why not? I mean, like it's like you're content with just winning the series. Why not go for the sweep?
Right.
That's I mean, and that was the game. That last game, that was Urquidy, right? Urquidy pitched that game.
No,
And
Ronell did.
oh, Blanco, yeah, okay.
That was
Yeah, I mean,
the worst
like,
outing of the season.
yeah, I mean, like you again. That's been your hottest pitcher of late,
Mm-hmm.
and you throw out that dog shit lineup. I mean, that's and we haven't even talked to the numbers that Chaz and Abreu have put up since they've been back. I mean, you just talked about the mojo of the team. We went on a little run. You sent down Loperfido,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially now you're doing a platoon at first base. Chaz is hitting under 100 since he's been back. That's
Yeah.
when he's in the lineup. So it's like he's been back to essentially play once every 4 games. And then Abreu's hitting under 200. I
Yeah.
think he's at like 170 something. So it's just like you essentially just murdered your mojo by inserting 2 like complete, almost guaranteed outs in this lineup.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's terrible. And like I think we talked about it last week with the circle of trust. Or no, we talked about not the circle of trust, but the 3 moves that if we could make today, what would they be? And one of mine was to send Chaz's ass back down
yeah,
because he's not doing anything for us. I mean, he's doing nothing but taking up the spot. Like, I know that we make fun of Dubon, or I make fun of you hating Dubon, but like the dude when he plays, like he legit has a glove and he can hit. Like the dude gets on base, man. Like and when he does play, you got him batting behind Abreu. Like I'm not saying he needs to go lead off or bat 2 or bat, you know what I'm saying? But like the dude like puts the ball in play. Abreu, yeah, he hit his home run. Majority of actual home run hitters in the league will probably pull that ball over the left field fence, not late go to right field, right? So, like, it's just I don't understand it. I know you want to give guys days off because Thursday was a travel day, right?
So there's your day off, your travel day.
Exactly. You're a freaking millionaire,
Yeah, I mean,
day off is like yeah, because you're already playing a getaway game on Wednesday. You're playing an early game, right? So you get the whole evening off. You get all day Thursday, flying out, whatever. Like I just don't understand it, dude. I don't. I know our team is a little bit older. Altuve's older, right? But like we're not at the point where we can start resting guys. When we're in the middle of like we need to start sleeping. You get to win series or sleep. That's where we're at.
Yeah, we're kind of in where you have to like we're almost at the point now we have to win out.
Yeah.
I mean, so like I mean with Seattle, I mean like I almost am at the point where I'm thinking the division is done waiting for you to catch up. So like again, it's just like I mean, why not throw your best lineup out there? I mean, I get it, you don't want to take the chance on Bregman. You want to give Tucker another day, then you have the day off, yesterday. I mean, but I mean that's hot garbage. That lineup is just like
terrible.
I mean, like, and it's just like that lineup right there tells me that we are just content winning the series and not going for the sweep.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Atrocious.
And then you have any Astros fan that's like a real true fan that's been keeping up with the team, right? Like it's infuriating for them, for all of us, when we see this lineup get posted. Like you got to be shitting me. This is what.
Yeah.
Like then Bryles we talked about with your buddy Bryles, right? Like and he said the same thing. Like what is dog shit that's being rolled out in the field? Bryles, I'm not there with you, homie. Like it's like hot garbage. Like no wonder they lost, right? Because you're asking for guys in this lineup to pick up the slack for the guys that are out. Now look, Tucker, out of the 3 guys that are out, Tucker's probably the most consistent. Was that fair statement?
That's fair.
But even still, I mean, just with the name of Bregman, just the name of Altuve, like you got those 3 guys out, and you're asking Cabbage, Dubon, and I don't even know.
Chazzy.
Oh, Chazzy to pick up the
Yeah.
freaking slack. Like you
Man,
can't.
that game, they lost that game 4-2, and they are 2 runs, 2 solo shots.
Right.
Diaz and Cabbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's their
That's
offense.
it. That was
It's
their offense.
it's like the what was that, the 15 or 16 season when we had Kobe Rasmus, where like it's like we either hit bombs or we struck out.
Yeah, that was 15. That was definitely 15 because you had on that squad you had Luis Valbuena, who was definitely boomer bust. He
Yeah.
wasn't getting me a single.
Right.
Yeah, that was a very boomer bust team.
Right. Yeah. That's what
But
you're asking for.
when they boomed more than twice.
That's true. That's fair. Fair statement.
So,
At least you knew what you were getting, like every night. Like, hey man, this could be a really awesome offensive display,
or nothing's gonna happen,
or we are gonna look foolish at the plate. You know. But then, like, okay, so you bring Cabbage up. Cabbage comes up for who? I mean, I know they sent Kessinger down. They got finally, right?
Yeah, I think that was a corresponding move to Tucker taking that ball off his shin because I think the plan was he wasn't going to play that entire. When did he get hit? Was that the first Cardinals game?
That would have been Monday, right? Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the first Cardinals
Monday.
game.
It was Space City the Monday.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a correspondence to that because they pretty much planned he probably wasn't going to play again on Friday.
Yeah.
So that I don't know why they felt like they needed another outfielder. I mean, because then what you do, you slide Chaz to left. Maybe you put somebody in right.
Dubon goes in right.
Yeah, there you go. Put Dubon in center. Put Myers in right. And then Chaz has the everyday, because that's another thing that's been one of the few things that has been consistent with this team is that these guys that need at bats that don't get them.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's frustrating, because it's like, okay, you call Chas McCormick back, who's already off to a slow start. He needs to get going. Him getting going is not playing one game, playing 2 games, and then sitting for 3 games. That's not how you get someone's bat going, right? And like you had said, I think offline, you were like, is there any way in the universe that we could get both Chas McCormick and Jake Myers playing good at the same time? Because it seems like they have to sacrifice each other for the other one to do well.
Right. No, it's like what it has to happen. It's like, hey, feel free, guys. It's like when we have our flag football team. My little kids are 6 years old. They want to run side by side with the guy with the ball. And I'm like, guys, hey, you know what? It's cool to pull the flags in flag football. It's okay. Y'all allowed to do that. It's the same with Chaz and Jake. Like, it's cool for you guys to be hot at the same time. Like, like we don't need one of y'all sucking and the other one just breaking. So let's do it at the same time. So I don't know. That was a great, terrible lineup that came out. I'm glad that it's not just me and you. I know that you see the hot garbage that gets put out, but Lopafito playing some first base down in Sugar Land.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And made a few plays down there, had a few videos deleted.
Yeah.
Had a few videos deleted. I think the jokes were was that Bagwell made the jokes were that Bagwell made the Space Cowboys delete it so that no one saw him playing first base. Could be something in the future, man. What do you think?
I can tell you what, that is commitment to your mistake. Commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, they toyed with the idea of him playing first base earlier in the season, and then they called him up to not play first base.
Right.
I mean, I'm good with it. I mean, as long as he can play, and from what I've seen so far, he already looks head and shoulders better than Abreu at first base. So,
yeah,
I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt of them giving maybe Abreu, even though as much as this pains me, another month to find out if he's going to turn this around, which, again, with Abreu, there's nothing I've seen him in his at-bats that tells me he's turning anything around. He still looks slow. Everything he hits goes opposite because he's late.
Yep.
And like I said, that last game that was against Lance Lynn. And Lance Lynn was throwing heat at 92.
Yeah.
Right. So again, this isn't like, this kid, this is a young 22-year-old kid throwing 103, right? He's throwing 92.
Yeah.
Right. Now, no, this day and age, that's a young kid's changeup is
Yeah,
92.
yeah.
And he still looks late on it. It's like
Hmm.
every pitch he's fooled by either like I don't know if he's just expecting that they're just going to walk him, but every time that he swings the bat, he is late on every single pitch. And it's just like I'm not, I don't get paid to, you know, evaluate talent, but I can see it. I get like everybody can see it. This guy has not barreled up a ball since the playoffs last year.
I was going to say last year. I was going to say last
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
I mean, there's everything he's behind on. I mean, it's like, how much longer? But then it's like, you know what? Leave him in. Leave him in. Let us get 14 games behind first place, and then maybe it'll induce the change that needs to happen.
And then it's
That's
going to be too late. So then there's no
that's
reason
what
to
I'm
make the
saying.
change,
It'll be
right?
yeah. I mean, it'll force the changes to happen that needs to happen. They need to cut their losses with him, or find some way to package a deal like we talked about last week. Maybe throw Chaz in there and get a stapler from another team, and it's a win-win situation, right? But I'm all for Loperfido getting time at first base.
But I'm all for. How about we just put the best 9 fucking guys on the field? How about that?
Yeah, I mean, you would think that
That's,
it would
that's
be that
basic.
would be the pretty easy approach, but
And it's. I understand that there's contracts and money, and I mean I get that. But if you take the money part out of it, you put the 9. You put your best 9 on the field. Period. End of
yeah,
story. And what
I
we're putting
agree.
out there is like six guys that are worth 6, 7 guys.
I even think that's a stretch.
It is, but look at the back of most of the guys' baseball cards, man. They're good.
Those backs of the baseball cards always get you.
um, so I saw something about trade rumors. Trade rumors
Oh
are hot
boy.
and heavy. They're hot and heavy, right? 'Cause we're getting close.
Oh yeah, we're getting close. I love me some good old trade rumors. What you got?
I heard something about Pete Alonso.
Yeah, that's just never gonna happen.
I
That's
didn't think it
never
was.
gonna
That's
happen.
why it's called a rumor.
Never
I called a
gonna
rumor.
happen. I mean, I'll put it to
So,
you this way.
so let's dissect that for a minute. Okay, let's dissect it for a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Number one, he is a free agent at the end of the season. That's number one.
Okay.
Okay. Even if you could get this guy, okay. He's not even having a good season. That's number two. He's
Okay.
not playing good up there.
Okay.
But like you were about to say, we have 0 movable pieces that we would actually want to get rid of.
Not true. I mean,
No,
but go ahead.
we do, but you don't want to just give up. Like you don't want to give up any potential good players or current good players in our farm system. We already don't have a good pipeline anyway. Like it's been like
Yeah.
3 years in a row of 27th or worse rankings in our pipeline. So we're not stacked. I think we talked about it earlier where even our number one guy is like in the 70s overall ranked. 70.
Yeah, that's Bryce Matthews.
Right,
I think he's like 77 or 73. He's in the 70s.
right. So and then of course it depends on where we're at come July, comes the deadline part, right? Like if we're within 5-6 games, maybe pick that around. But
Okay.
I'm not in the business of rentals at all because we know that if we rent this guy for the playoff push, Houston doesn't pay what San Diego, LA, New York, whatever, Boston. They don't pay these guys like that, right? So we're not gonna re-sign that guy for some massive contract. You know what I'm saying? So it's a cool rumor. It's a cool thought. He's gonna have a porch to hit bombs into. Like the Mets are already like 15 games out of first place. Like
Yeah, they're done already. But I mean, but they already said that they weren't really trying to compete this year. They're more looking towards next year. So, did the article say anything about what the package was? Because I'm very interested.
So it didn't. It didn't mention one player.
No.
Which I'm like, okay, why do you allow me? Because I'm reading this whole freaking thing, waiting to hear a package.
The package. Okay.
And then I get to the end, and I'm like, where's the package? Right?
Yeah.
So we talked about, this is a rumor, this is a potential good trade for the Astros, obviously, right? Because even with Alonso's, crap season for him, it's still an upgrade on what you have with Abreu. So then they went and, started with Alonso and good for the Astros, problems with Abreu, blah, 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 blah. And I still didn't see, the only thing I saw was what it talked about the Astros having the 27th or worst MLB pipeline ranking for the last 3 years. That was like the last sentence. So I'm like, what the hell are you going to trade for him then, man?
So, see, I'm all about rentals. I mean, especially if, like, one, you have to be in it first, number one.
Yeah.
So, and even with Alonso having a down year, you're rolling the dice that he's going to get hot in the next month or so.
Right.
So essentially, you're just using him for the 1 month that you'll have him, and then the playoff push, right? So would that be a terrible move for the Astros? No, if you didn't already have Abreu. Now, if you were having John Singleton out there and you're like, man, we need to upgrade at first base. So you make the deal for Pete Alonso. You can let him walk because you've been letting Joey Loperfido play first base this entire season with Sugarland, and then he's your everyday first baseman next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I find this extremely hard to happen or to get done is that, one, the only leverage that we have, or we had, just got hurt and is out for the year on Tommy John, and that would be Urquidy. That would have been the one guy I would have had no problem moving, right? So, and here's the thing. If we're in it, let's say this is something that we're talking about doing, right? Who else needs a first baseman that has money? Arizona needs a first. Well, I mean, they always put him at DH or put Christian Walker at DH, whatever. There's going to be a handful of other teams, right? And the handful of other teams are going to have a lot better minor league system than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and this goes back to the conversation I had with one of the Facebook people that commented on the Trever Bauer. It was my thing is, who are you going to trade to get starting pitching that you're talking about, right? There's no reason to trade Loperfido, right? So there's no reason to trade Pedro Leon. Maybe you could trade Pedro Leon if you don't see a future, within the next year. So that's it. Those are your two big boppers. You're not going to trade Jacob Melton, right? Because he's going to be your potential Tucker replacement of Tucker Walk.
Yeah.
So those three guys, and you're not trading Bryce Matthews. So who are you going to make this trade? Right? I mean, Chas McCormick. Nobody cares about Chas McCormick and his 140 batting average.
Yeah.
Okay. Abreu has no value because he still has a whole nother year on the contract. Nobody's going to want to deal with Abreu for another year, right? Yeah. Unless you're going to eat 80% of that contract.
Yeah, you have to pay it. You have to eat it. Yeah.
I mean, your only other trade chip that you have that could potentially help the Mets is maybe Jake Myers, and you're not 1-for-1 in Jake Myers for, Alonso. So
not for a lot of players, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, like, and that's the reality is that, like, these top players, like the White Sox too, like they're putting everybody on the trade block. I heard something about Luis Robert Jr., and I'm like, that's a cool story. That's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Crochet is another guy, good young pitcher. Yeah. That's not happening. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to settle for like not tier 1. Not tier 2, maybe tier 3 relievers that aren't going to cost you. That'll cost you some kid from the complex.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to be looking at if we're going for it.
Yeah,
which is why, like, honestly, with all the pitching struggles that you've had, and I'm not saying you just give up on the season, right? But everything that has happened this season is kind of, as of right now. Now, we could come back 2 weeks from now and things change and we're a game out, and then we're exactly where we were last year, where it was like, man, we're a couple games, but there's nobody to trade.
Yeah.
Nobody. I mean, we had to give our number 1 and number 3 for JV.
Yeah.
Which became the Mets' 7 and 12. Right.
Yeah.
So, and that was for JV. That wasn't for Montgomery or, one of these younger pitchers.
And it was also because the Mets are paying most of the salary, right?
Yeah.
So we're really not even on the hook when we were on the hook for a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So And it cost us that, and that was him having a good season,
Yeah.
right? Abreu, I mean, you would have, I mean, like, it's just like some of these things. I'm like, yeah, I wish it was MLB The Show, and when all the
Oh yeah.
dumb trades that that game makes, yeah, I could trade Jake Myers and Ryan Presley for, but that even his bat, even if he gets hot, I mean, that bat's not going to help,
Yeah.
right? There's
You
too
can't
many
pitch.
holes in this lineup.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, if it was up to me, I would be kind of looking at who can we move to kind of restock this minor league system just a little bit. Again, I'm not saying tear it down, but if
Yeah.
you could shed some money here and there, I mean, like, it sucks. It does. I mean, and I've read comments where people are like, oh, if they trade so and so, it means they've given up and I'm done watching the Astros. Well, I mean, see you later, man. See you in 6 years when they're better again.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're already feeling the Astros are already feeling it. I mean, I haven't seen I've seen 4 emails already talking about what are they super savings games are already, and it's already. And this is not even a team that's like 19 games under
Yeah.
500, and like they're already feeling the pressure of it already.
What did
I
I tell
mean,
you yesterday? I got an email about the Red Sox and Astros series that ticket prices already dropped. They dropped
yeah,
the game.
yeah. I mean,
You know?
so and that's the thing is that they're really going to be in trouble if this is still the way it is come August.
Look, I heard something on the radio a couple of days ago where it was talking about moving Bregman or moving Tucker at the deadline or something like that. And if you move one of those pieces, if you move one of those two pieces at the deadline, you're essentially telling your entire fan base that it's over, that the season's done, right? You're going.
Well, I don't think. I mean, if
And
you trade,
if you
I think
trade
if you
Tucker,
trade
it's a
both
wrap.
of them, if you, I mean, like, it's like here's the thing. If you like, it would take a lot for them to convince me that they have thrown in the towel. We are completely tearing it down and rebuilding. You know, them trading Bregman, you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Because if you don't trade Bregman, and then what happens? You're going to bitch and complain in the offseason about how we let another guy leave for nothing. If you trade Bregman and get some value from him, and let's say he doesn't sign, right? Then essentially, you've got something for him. You didn't get nothing for Springer. You got nothing for Cole. You got nothing for Correa.
Right. Yeah.
You got nothing for any of these guys. So it's like fans, you got to pick a lane. Either let him walk, let him ride out this season, let him walk. Hopefully he resigns. If he doesn't, then it is what it is. Or if he has value come the trade deadline, which he will because he's still Alex Bregman and he plays fantastic defense, you're going to get something back for him. He's going to be a rental. So you got to pick a lane. Either be in the lane of, ride or die, or be in the lane of at least we got something for him and we didn't lose him for nothing.
Well,
But
I'm kind of in the lane of, and it's tough to say this, but honestly, like, I don't really foresee Bregman re-signing, right?
I don't either.
At all. Like, I forget the reporter's name. I heard it earlier this week. They were talking about, he just kind of gave I think it was Ken Rosenthal, to be honest with you, that he gives the Astros a 5 to 10% chance of re-signing Bregman. Right now, he's not. Now, Ken Rosenthal, like, he's in the know. He knows all that, but that's not the Bible, right?
Yeah, it's
But
not the end all be all.
it's still, I think it's a pretty fair assessment, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Irving's going to command a lot of money, and the Astros aren't going to pay for it. So if we need, like, I'm of the opinion where, as much as it would pain me to see him, be traded or not be on this team, I think you get something back for him. Like,
I agree.
Get something back. Let's replenish something in our farm system, right? Or we have to. Like, dude, we cannot continue to have the shit farm system like we currently have. We can't, because the guys that we have, our core, aside from, Tucker's what, 30? I think Tucker's 30.
No, Tucker's like
27,
I think
28.
he's 27. Yeah.
Okay, so Tucker's our youngest core guy, right? Or so you have to have guys on the up and coming. You can't have guys that are in our system ranked number one, but overall like 70s and 80s, right? I mean, and there's every prospect's a risk. It really is, right? I mean, they're not pooping out Paul Schemes, which, man, it sure would be nice.
Man, that'd be nice.
Dude, that dude's so dirty. But you know what I'm saying? So instead of letting another cornerstone walk and get nothing back, as much as it would pain me to see him go at the deadline, at least you, like you said, you get something back for the guy, and you're going to get some good prospects back because, like you said, it is Alex Bregman at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And we got to replenish this thing. It's
Yeah,
going
you
to like
can't.
with us being so good, we're not getting the top picks, obviously, right?
No.
And so it's going to take a rebuild. It's going to take a tear down rebuild where you suck again to have to replenish it, or you're going to have to move valuable pieces at the deadline to get your replacements in the farm system. Well, it's you're right. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I mean, it's you either move them and get the pieces, or you let them walk again. But you can't bitch about it if you walk and you don't get anything back for them. It's part of the business.
Yeah. Or you're praying for the small chance you get the Aroldis Chapman hookup where you trade him and then you're able to re-sign him. I mean, but man, as early as the offseason, they were linking him to Arizona.
Yeah,
Like he just moved to Arizona. I mean, he got 2 rings here. I mean, so would it blow my mind to see him sign a 5-year, 125, $140 million with the Diamondbacks? No, the third baseman they have right now is trash. But
so
I mean, like it's going to
that,
take something.
that's the thing though. Like we offered Correa 5 years, 125, right? And he didn't take it. Now, granted, he thought he was getting these 12-year deals or
Yeah, he
whatever.
thought he was getting that Corey Seager money.
Right. Now he ends up basically signing for what the Astros were going to offer him, right? But if you offer Bregman 5 years, 125, and this guy rejects it and goes and signs the same type of deal somewhere else, to me, that's just a middle finger to your organization. That's it. And then it's like, man, fuck you then. Go. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, it's more of like, I mean, because like I said, I mean, like maybe his mind's made up. Maybe he felt like he's done everything he needed to do here and he's ready for a new challenge. I mean, but, I mean, like, I agree. I mean, you can't let these guys go for nothing because what's going to happen is we're going to end up like, man, what was that? The 08, 09 Astros where we had all these old on the wrong side of their career veterans and we had nothing in the
Yeah.
farm system. Nothing. I mean, so like it would take, I mean, like I would even be okay with them if they went as far as, like I could definitely be okay with them moving JV and then
Yeah.
moving Ryan Presley. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
at that point, I mean, like maybe do a Ryan Presley. I mean, the kid that I really like, because everybody's linking Presley to the Orioles because they
Yeah.
need a closer. Man, if we could get our hands on that kid, and this might be too pricey, we might have to throw in somebody. But man, if we can get that kid Colby Mayo from the Orioles and the potential Presley deal, oh, that would be fantastic. But it sucks. Like it definitely sucks. I mean, like I get it. It's hard to say bye to some things, and as of right now, it's not over yet. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Exactly.
we still got almost 2 months of baseball. The trade deadline's July 31st. I mean, but I just feel like they're going to be, even if we turn this around, butterflies, unicorns, we turn this around, we're 2 games in first place in the AL West between now and July 27th. We don't have the guns because that's the thing too, is like you said, prospects are, they're a gamble. Yeah, but you use the sexiness of this is the
Mm-hmm.
number 9 prospect in all of baseball.
Exactly.
And you use their sexiness to bring in someone who's proven, right?
Yeah.
Or, if you're a team that's a seller, you're saying you're using the sexiness of this is your number 9 prospect. I want him and him and him and him, and I'll give you this guy, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just don't see it where we're going to be able to swing these deals for you know, I mean, like if we're looking at Luis Robert Jr., right? Let's say we do a Jake Myers. All right, they're not one for one in that. That's not happening. So what are you dipping into? You're dipping into your future, right? So, and then let's say Tucker does walk, right? Who's going to play right field? You've traded Jake Myers and you've traded, let's say, Loperfido and I don't know, insert random guy.
But
Now
typically,
you're
look, typically, if you're a buyer, you're overpaying anyway, right?
because you're competing with like the Dodgers, the Braves. You're competing with everybody, and
But
which is why,
the seller knows, hey, I've got a market
yeah,
for John Doe.
especially starting pitching. Starting pitching's like that's the most premier position you can ask for. So
Yeah.
why would the White Sox trade Crochet to the Astros for,
Any.
if Leone is untouchable and Eulio Perfito's untouchable and Bryce Matthews untouchable and Jacob Melton's untouchable,
Yeah.
they're not going to trade him for Colton Gordon and Billy Wagner's son. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not when they know that the Dodgers need pitching. Their farm system's fantastic.
It's
The
so
Braves
wild
farm
to
system
me,
is
like all of it.
fantastic, right? The Mariners have a fantastic farm system. The Rangers have a good farm system. So it's like that's a cool story. As much as we like Billy Wagner's kid, but they're offering me 3 top
Yeah.
20 prospects
Yeah.
for this pitcher. Thanks, Astros, but no thanks.
Yeah. Cool story.
And he'll go to, or like the Mason Miller, another kid. He'll probably be traded. He ain't coming to the Astros for Colton Gordon. That ain't happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, like even if we do turn it around and we're in first place, I mean we're still stuck between a rock and a hard place. We're gonna have to find those bargain bin pitchers that are available.
Well, because if we go on a run and we end up in first place at that time, that means that the team that we currently have has finally decided to be the team that we thought they were going to be, right?
Yeah,
Which is false.
minus the proven starting pitching.
Right. So it makes it more difficult to move on from the player that's assisted or helped with getting you back to where you need to be, because everyone at that point is going to have to be playing better baseball to get you to that point. And now you're saying, oh, I want to move this guy to get this guy, but it's just, look, man, thank God that I am not an expert and I get to sit here and I get to pretend to be one, because I don't want that. That's just, it's insanely difficult to all the different scenarios you got to think about,
Yeah, and one more thing to add to it, this season probably did us no favors in re-signing Tucker.
Right.
I promise you.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's looking at this as either this is leaning towards a rebuild or a retool. So let's say a retool takes 2 years. Does he want to have another mediocre season? Maybe, I'm not saying we're going to be a 100-loss team, but this season did us no favors in re-signing Tucker.
Yeah, sure.
So because if I'm Tucker, I'm used to being in the ALCS or the League Championship Series almost every single year.
Yeah.
Am I going to sit here on a team and go through a rebuild? No, I'm not.
Like he don't even know what to do in October. What I mean?
If they don't make the playoffs this year, that's going to be the first time in his entire career he's not made the playoffs.
Yeah, it's insane to think about.
Yeah.
So, well, let's see. We got a West Coast swing. We'll kind of finish the episode with this. We got a West Coast swing coming up, starting tonight, right? With the Angels for 3.
Yep.
And then we go to the Bay.
Then we face the Gigantes.
San Francisco. So, we got a little bit of payback to do with the Angels. So wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, these two series, they're very winnable series. I mean, LA is like the only teams that they play tough is us and the Rangers. And then you have the Giants that are under 500.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is where you're supposed to beat up on the teams you're supposed to beat up on, right? This is the stepping stones to get back on track. But I mean, we'll see.
It needs to be a 4-2 out of these 6. It needs to be 4-2 minimum.
That's minimum. Yeah, 4-2. Yeah.
Minimum. So I know that these clowns, they can do it.
They can.
They can do it, dude. Like, Espada needs to put his best 9 out there. I don't know what he needs to. I don't know what he needs to do with Chaz other than probably not play him.
Yeah.
Like, for real, just not play him. I don't know. I mean,
I would put Cabbage starting over McCormick right now.
Okay, but Dubon needs at bats, though, dude. Like,
oh yeah, keep forgetting. Yeah, it's so easy to forget about him.
No, it's not. I'm gonna keep reminding you. I'm gonna keep reminding you of him. That's why we have that beautiful bobblehead behind you. But Dubon's got to play more. Like, why? Like, that's like, why is Dubon not playing more? That's what I really don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why this kid doesn't play. Maybe does he suck that bad when he plays consistently? Like, I don't think so. Like, I don't think so.
He played consistently last year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, what has this guy done to not play every day? I mean, I feel like he's got a better glove, better arm than Chaz. Easy. Yeah. Right? Jake's shoulder, I mean, like, he don't have a cannon. I still feel like Dubon's better defensively than Myers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really shocked that he's kind of went against the grain and actually stuck with Myers and has ridden out this hot streak. That's what blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, someone's got a lot of fire in this team. I mean, like, clearly the guys, it's got to come from someone. Because as of right now, JV's not firing these guys up. Maybe he is, and they just don't care. I don't know. Maybe Altuve needs to. Well, he's not going.
He's not going to.
Yeah, I mean, so somebody, maybe they need to bring somebody in from outside and say, "Listen, y'all are playing like garbage.
Yeah,
y'all need to be better than this, and it starts now." I don't know. Something needs to happen, but you have 6 very winnable games coming up, and they need to take care of business.
And they need to do it. Period. End of story. Can't keep.
I mean, like, if they go 2-4 in this 6-game stretch, I mean, like, and they fall another 2 games back, it's going to be very hard to make it up. Very hard.
Yeah, I think if they do that, it's going to be a really difficult episode next week.
Yeah,
there'll be a lot more cussing than this week.
I think I was on my best behavior, trying to not lose my mind. I was told, like, Mandy asked me, she said, "What are you going to be, stone cold again and smash beers open and start chugging them?" And
hey, maybe you should.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I should.
That would be awesome. Just put the tarp up, like, behind all your wall, like they do in the locker room for championship.
Yeah, and it's kind of start chugging them around.
Land your blue bunny belt things or whatever they were. What are they called?
What?
What was that beer you drank? Blue bunny. Bunny belt.
Yeah. I can't think of the name of it now.
Not a boy.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that one. So next week, I expect
Buckle Bunny.
Whenever you come on, when we come on the screen for our episode, I want to see painters clear, thing behind you, and start the episode off with 2 beer cans smashed together.
I like it.
With the stumbling sound of the glass breaking.
Ooh, that's gonna be tough. I'll see what I can do though.
All right, let's do it.
I like it.
Well, cool, man. Well, let's get out of here. Guys, I appreciate everybody listening. Like y'all always do. Keep supporting us. Keep liking our Facebook page. Follow us up there. Follow us on YouTube. We'll throw some more questions out and see what the responses we get. And thanks again for everyone listening. And thanks for everyone watching. It's been a lot of fun. Keep it going.
Yeah, guys. Have a good weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Talk to y'all later.
All right.
I was running it back or what?